Hello, and welcome back to another on a CRT monitor series. I am, of course, showing off my one and only ViewSonic P810 CRT monitor. And by one and only, I mean it's the one and only one that I have. Hopefully there are a lot more out in the wild, because this thing will probably eventually die, and I would like to get a new one. Today I am showing off Gunfire Reborn. This is a first-person shooter, I don't know if you'd say it's a roguelike, but I don't know what else you would call it? I don't know. Anyway, this game recently came onto Game Pass, and I've been playing it. The Game Pass version is slightly older than the Steam version. There's more content on Steam, so if you're playing on PC, unless you just want to play it for free on Game Pass, and by free, I mean you already have Game Pass. Otherwise, you'll have to pay for Game Pass. So definitely don't subscribe to Game Pass just to get this game. But anyway, this game's cool. I'm a fan. I've been playing it for a long time. I am playing it again and finding a new love for the game because it's on Game Pass and because I had to make new character stuff. There is no cross progression to my knowledge, so I've been playing it again and having a good time with it at a lower level. As you play more, you get into having things that carry over in between runs. Basically, whenever you die, you have to start over at the very beginning, but you can keep some XP and things like that to be able to enhance your next run, and eventually you'll be able to tackle new challenges. That's kind of the roguelike type beat. So how does this run on a CRT monitor? Why am I playing this on a CRT monitor? Well, for one, motion clarity on a CRT is so nice. So just any shooter, any first-person game, just automatically is very fun. Did I miss an enemy? Am I going the wrong way? No, okay. I was just going the wrong way. All right, I got it now. Yeah, so just motion clarity, the snappiness of this is very nice. The monitor does that. There's a technique that my OLED has that kind of mimics being able to have the motion clarity. And that technique is called black frame insertion. I have right now, the camera is not flickering on the monitor. But believe me, if you point a camera at an old TV or at one of these monitors, it will freak out. You have to kind of synchronize your shutter speed with it because it has lines that are drawn. It isn't using pixels. Anyway, the TLDR, black frame insertion, flickers the monitor to kind of mimic how a CRT works. I'll go ahead and do this. So you have a lot of clarity whenever you're moving around. You can see really well whenever you're playing on a CRT monitor, which is what I'm doing. So let's go into some of the CRT settings. So right here for the game, what pertains to CRT? We have video, so there's a bunch of custom stuff. This actually is like, and I think a lot of this is on Xbox too, but this is actually really powerful. This monitor, whenever you think of a CRT, you kind of think of 4x3. It's technically not 4x3. I think this is actually a 5x4 or something. I don't remember the exact resolution, but anyway, resolution works differently on a CRT monitor than it does on a modern display. So the closest thing that I had was 4x3 is what I picked. You can do 16x9, you can do 16x10, and then you can get a little wider, and you can do 21x9 even. And there's a lot of different options you can see from here. The highest thing I have plugged into my computer right now is 4K, so maybe that's why it's picking these resolutions, is because I have a 4K monitor plugged in. If you had something else, maybe it would continue to go up. Some games don't do that. This game seems to be built relatively well, so I wouldn't doubt that happening. So yeah, this monitor does 1600 by 1200. We're only at 1280 by 1024, but it still looks really good. Another reason why I picked this game, do you want to save and apply? No, I do not. Another reason I picked this game is the aesthetic. It has very simple graphics, kind of retro looking. I mean, to be fair, this is kind of a newer style that people have picked up on, doing these more simple graphics that don't use like blurry textures. That's kind of traditionally the more like retro inspired pixel art, or like the PS1 type stuff, which is not what this game is going for, but it definitely is not going for super smooth, like, you know, the new Call of Duty or anything like that. So I think it still fits on this, and even if you don't think it fits, well, guess what? The motion clarity helps play the game, okay? So we'll just, you know, just did that. You might want to. Another thing that I could do right here, for example, I have the resolution lower than what it's natively at, and if I keep bumping it down, because of the way that this game does its graphics, this may screw up the camera, by the way. Because of the way that it does its graphics, it really doesn't look much different lowering the resolution, but if you've ever played some PC games, you would know bumping down the resolution that much is going to significantly improve your frame rates. So if you're able to get a CRT monitor, if you already own one, definitely play with some resolution, because you might gain a ton. And playing a shooter and having more FPS, even if you can't display it, it's going to help with your responsiveness, which, you know, your responsiveness is already pretty dang nice if you're using a CRT. So you can just icing on top of the cake, all right? You can just keep going nuts with this and be able to get a lot. Now, how does the HUD scale? That's something that some games really screw around with and just don't do well if you go into these different resolutions that they aren't used to, like something that's not 1080p, 1440p, or 4K. This all fits on really well. I kind of would assume that everything would work really well on here because they have an actual 4:3 option in there. Like, you can select your aspect ratio. It's not just under resolution. So that makes me think that they aren't just scaling everything and like forcing the resolution. Like, even the loading screen looks pretty good. But yeah, that makes me think that they aren't doing it in a jank way where they're like, oh yeah, technically you can run this, but maybe you don't want to run it at this resolution. No, you know, I think I do actually want to run it on my CRT, and if I'm doing that, then the way I want to do it is, you know, something where I don't have black bars at the top or bottom, which if I was trying to do it in 1080p or something like that, it almost certainly would not fit in the way that I would want it to. So, thankfully, I'd say it does pretty well there. I would say this game translates very well on there. Again, aesthetic, you can argue with me and be like, well, it is a lower poly style, but it's still not really in the vein of like this isn't really a game you'd probably be playing in 2002 whenever this monitor was made. But it still looks cool. I mean, to be fair, all the new boomer shooters are not really games that you'd be playing back then anyway either, so come on, man, don't hound me on this. Just play some Gunfire, all right? Have a good time, just like I'm doing right now. I'm having a very good time. I haven't noticed any weirdness going on with any like HUD or me moving and anything weird happening. Some games, like, actually you put them in a resolution that has not been tested, and the bugs will come out. I don't know how, and I don't know why they come out, but they do. But this game, I mean, everything just fits really well. I will say, playing on this monitor in the field of view that I normally do on a widescreen, you can probably go ahead and shrink the field of view. And I wonder, now that I'm thinking about that, I'm wondering about a lot of games that I thought had a really narrow field of view. I'm like, I wonder if that was because they were built for people playing on a CRT or on something that's not in widescreen. Like, I remember playing Halo 3 and being like, man, not having the field of view cranked up feels really weird. But I think the first time I ever played Halo 3 was not on like a really nice HD TV. I think I just played it on my old CRT because those were still kind of being made back whenever that came out. And I just realized that. I think that actually is like a huge factor in doing that. Enemies explode after being defeated. That text is a little small. I will definitely admit that, but I mean, it's not bad. Like, I can still easily read it from here. The way I'm seeing everything versus the way the camera sees it. Unfortunately, my eyes do see a little better than the camera. The camera's really wide, and that's why it's like that. Can we pull out my gun, please? My woodpecker, as it's called. All right, there we go. Portal has been opened. I'm just kind of rushing through this. I'm not really collecting all the stuff that I would if I was doing a normal playthrough, because I am not doing a normal playthrough. I do not plan on staying here and beating this entire game right now. That is not that is not my goal. I am definitely not doing that. I am gonna go ahead and hopefully beat this boss, and then I'll be able to go over any other settings if there are. I really don't have a gun that I love here to be able to fight the boss. I'm gonna run this, and I hope that I can get through this. A little more on the game. Every area has, at the very end, a boss that you can fight. Some of them even have multiple that they'll cycle through. So this is the first boss that you will ever fight. Luwu, I guess is probably how you would pronounce it. Wow, this is actually really weird with this field of view, to be honest. As you can see, I am a little stronger than you probably would be at level 1 if you've never played this game before. So I am kind of just shredding through this boss. This will take you a little bit if you are like, wow, this game's cool. I think I'll go ahead and download it now. Like, don't be like, oh man, I'm just really bad at the game. No, you're not. I'm just really good. I mean, I'm not really good, but I have a bunch of stats and obviously more experience than if you just downloaded the game. But these little things right here you can use to kind of do attributes to your character that last for only that run. You can pick up some money that lasts for only that run, and then in the top right there's a little bluish green thing right there that carries over with you. So I'll just go ahead and enter in the next act so we can see the loading screen and see it fits pretty well. I mean, obviously the art, it's got some space at the top and the bottom, but I'd say that works pretty well. I think I'm pretty happy with playing this on a CRT. Again, you can't see it on the camera because even if I'm pointing a camera at the display, you still won't get a feel from the display because you're watching it through your display. But the motion clarity just feels so good. It's so nice zooming around and just turning my head. Like, you can actually just like make out details you couldn't before, even if I'm not playing in 4K. Like, a lot of people think, oh hey, making out extra details, you need a bunch of extra pixels for that. And like, hey, joke's on you, this thing does not even like do pixels. Like, 4K is not a consideration for this because that's not really how this thing works at all. There are resolutions to this, and it's very complicated, and I'm kind of not saying it in like the most technically accurate way because the rendering is just so different from the way that we do things now. But basically, there's a lot of detail that you can see that you wouldn't be able to on my 4K TV that I have right next to here, because whenever you jump around and move, things will get blurry and you can't see. Whereas on here, you move and it feels really fluid, even if they're running at the same frame rate or even lower. I only have this at 75 hertz right now. That's just kind of like the default at this resolution that I like to put it at. And it feels nicer than my 120 hertz 4K. Like, it's really nice. Believe the hype. Go buy one today. No, I mean, that's not really a thing that you can't do. But like, seriously, if you know someone who has one of these, or if you see one on your local marketplace and you have room to put it there, I'd recommend messing around with it. I think that you'll like it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And I also think you would be surprised pleasantly if you subscribed. You know, you might see more videos just like this. You might see some different ones. Maybe you'll even be pleasantly surprised if you leave a comment and tell me, hey, I think you should try this game, or maybe you should do the video slightly different in this way, or here's a completely unrelated thing that I want to tell you, Mason. And I'll go, wow, that was really cool. Thank you for telling me that. And thank you for watching this video. I am now going to go kick this bandit in the face and I'm going to leave now. Goodbye.